Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Other Side of Addiction podcast. I am your host, Al Richards, and I am joined today by the lovely Robyn Sims from TOSA, which is the Other Side Academy. Robyn, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we were actually had an interview today with somebody, and I don't know what's happened. I hope everything's okay on their end. But they haven't shown up. We've given them 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And a while back, Robyn and I were talking when she was here at the studio about doing an interview. And she goes, Al, I'd love to interview you. So guess what's going to happen today, folks? Robyn is going to interview me. So really, instead of me being the host, I should have had Robyn actually introduce herself as the host today.
Yeah.
It's, we're sitting here talking, Robyn, and it's like today, I think today was meant to be the way it's supposed to be today.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I skipped a gym morning to sit down to go to the Other Side Academy this morning and have a meeting with you and Dave. Mm-hmm. And it was something I asked for back in August, and Dave finally had some time and went in there. Because just so you guys know, when we did our Healing Utah Success Summit this past August in St. George, Dave is a very powerful speaker.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, I actually went up to him and I'm like, Dave, I'd love to sit down with you and get some tips because I want to be a powerful speaker like that. I want to just grab people, and share a message. And Dave and Robyn both were very upfront today with things. And man, I tell you what, if you ask for advice from people and you can't take what they throw at you, then don't ask for the damn advice, right?
Absolutely.
And they gave me some really, really good tips today. And I'm very grateful, very, very grateful for that. But again, it all kind of falls into the way this whole day's coming together. So far, anyway. We're not through it all the way, not even halfway, but we're close. So anyway, yeah, Robyn, what do you have to say? I mean, if you want to interview me, then I guess we're going to go forward.
I just think, that you asking for feedback is important. I think the world can learn from that. I know that I learned from that and being open to hearing what people have to say. It's not always easy to hear, but especially when you're around people that don't want to hurt you, they want to help you.
Yeah.
And that's all that was this morning. We, you asked for some feedback and we just want to help you. We want to see you succeed. And you were very open to it. And I think today kind of lined up perfectly for you to have that platform. Some of the advice was Al to tell his story.
Yeah.
We hear Jenann's story. We hear, we tell our stories and you interview us. And I don't even know necessarily any questions asked besides giving you a platform to tell your story, and so I would like you to start from wherever you think that you need to start and take ownership in your part. Yeah.
And we spoke a little bit about that this morning before Dave actually came into the office, and I was sharing a little bit. And it's really crazy where life goes. And I was talking about last October when Jenann and I were interviewed. Our good friend JD was the host, and my wife brought in her sponsor, Trish, came in as the guest co-host, and they actually interviewed the two of us. And I remember the first time that my wife brought out the reason why I lost my job of 24 years. And I was telling you this morning that, man, deep inside my blood's like boiling going, how dare you? How dare you frickin' say this? And then as the show started going on, I started realizing, man, I'm sitting here sharing my wife's story. Mm-hmm. And I interview people and I'm not asking them, they're pretty much willing to do it and they're being vulnerable, sharing parts of their lives. And it's like, what makes me any different, right? I mean, just because I'm the host of this show doesn't put me up on a pedestal higher than them. I'm actually on the same stage.
Everybody's got their own story.
Right? Yeah.
Everybody's got their own story.
Yeah. So to kind of get back into my story, I worked for a manufacturing place here in Salt Lake for 24 years. Mm-hmm. And I loved my job. I mean, from day one that I got hired on, it was February 6th of 1986 is when I got hired onto this place. Loved my flipping job. Came in as a new mechanic, worked on production lines, and just enjoyed it. And I worked my ass off to basically get to a whole different level on there. And within a short period of time, I was basically like a lead man over other mechanics, which was really cool. And really, in the 24 years I was out there, up until about the last 6 months that I was there, I loved going into work. And I missed a lot of our daughter's plays and different things because work came first.
Right.
That was my number one priority. And, out of high school and stuff, got into construction and, construction, people in construction. We partied a lot, and I was 17 years old. We had a lot of fun, traveled Phoenix, Denver, all kinds of different places. And even us that was there at the plant working together, we all became really good friends, and we partied on weekends, and had our time of smoking dope and maybe doing some mushrooms or doing a little bit of coke and some drinking and just enjoying everyone's company, you know. And I would have never thought that life would take you down the roads that you go to. And there got to a point where I was transferred to Bowling Green, Kentucky to help get a plant up and going. And I was flying back there for a while.
At this time?
Oh my gosh! At that time, I was in my lower 30s, probably about 31, 32 years old when
married?
Already, no, not married to Jenann.
Okay.
Not married to Jenann. I was on my second marriage.
Okay.
And was still kind of going through a nasty divorce, and which was really, really bad. And I was getting flown back there, and one of the guys that I used to work with here in Salt Lake ended up being the plant manager back there, and he offered me a job back in Kentucky, and I didn't want to leave my kids. I have two beautiful daughters, and I didn't want to leave them. However, the divorce was getting so nasty. Every time my girl's mom and I were around, we were just like cats and dogs at each other's throat, and I was seeing how it was affecting our girls. I'm like, I don't want our girls to be around this anymore. So I jumped on the opportunity and went back to Kentucky, and I ended up being there for 3 years. And I wanted to get back to my kids. I came back here, got divorced while I was in Kentucky, and came back to Salt Lake, and they had all these plans for me. Okay, they're like, well, eventually what we want to do is we want to put you over all the packaging lines. And I pushed for it too. I was busting my butt. I was over the fabric softener sheets department, and next thing I knew I was over the powders, and I was over the liquids, and I had a lot of responsibility on my plate. And things just kept moving. Next thing I knew, I was over all housekeeping. I was over all the property maintenance. And so now by the end of it, I've got like 43 employees that's underneath me. Every nationality you can think of. I got really good at understanding. You can talk to one person one way and realize you can't talk to another nationality that same way because they look at it as you're discriminating them. So I really got good at understanding people and how they looked at things. And I like to believe that I treated all my employees the same way. To me, they were all important. It didn't matter if they were housekeeping, didn't matter if they worked in the parts room, didn't matter if they were one of my mechanics. Mm-hmm. We were all equal, and
right.
But the responsibility I had, man, it was freaking outrageous. And I've shared this in a few of my talks. I thought I was a pretty good person. When I lost my job, I realized I wasn't really the person that I thought I was. And we'll kind of get back into that. So anyways, I got to where my weekends was partying.
That's what I was going to ask. Was the drinking and
Yeah.
drug use still going on?
Yeah,
And
well,
was it with employees?
It was no, never with employees.
Just by yourself?
No one that I worked with was ever a part of this. The times had changed where all of us used to do all our partying. The drug testing started coming in, policies started changing, and
Right.
and that. So all that stuff kind of separated.
Okay.
And I just got to a point to where it was just like I had an opportunity once after not doing it for a long time. And
That's how it happens.
And I'm like, my gosh, this is release. Holy cow, I got some relief. I don't have to think about work. I don't have to think, because that's all I thought about. I mean, I even remember my relationships. They used to tell me all the time, it's like, all you frickin' give a shit about is your job, because that's always that was on my mind continuously, 24/7.
Right.
And yeah.
Are you saying release through drinking or just your weekend partying, whatever it may consist of?
It was just, through the drinking and I had an opportunity to do some coke one time, and I'm like, man, it's been a freaking long time. I always enjoyed it.
Before that, when you say a long time, was that just like a high school phase, or was that
it was like during the construction years, and even when I first started working at this place, because all of us kind of did. Yeah, it was just like once in a great time, maybe a couple times a year, that this was happening. And it's kind of crazy how the universe looks or works, because next thing I know, I just met a guy that dealt it.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, frick, this is easy access, man. I don't have to go through anyone anymore. I mean, if I want something, I just pick up a phone,
right?
And call. And just that was my release. It was like an every Friday and Saturday thing. I'd work 12, 13, 14 hours Monday through Thursday. Friday is 8 hours only. On the phone, go pick up some stuff, run to the liquor store, or stop by the store and grab a 12-pack or a case and go home, and
there's your weekend.
Start my weekend.
Yeah.
And I remember when Jenann and I was first dating, we went to a party, and my buddies were kind of harassing me, like, we're kind of like joking around, and we all go in this room, and I mean, we think we're being sneaky, but it's like, we're three guys going into a bedroom and shutting the door,
right?
We think we're being pretty smart. We're not being smart at all. And so she asked me on the way home, and she goes, "What were you guys doing? And I want you to be honest with me." So I was honest with her. I says, "We went in there and did some coke." And she got really silent. And she goes, "Don't you ever do that again?" And I says, "Okay." And she goes, "No, I want you to promise me." And I said, "Okay, I promise." And the whole time I'm saying I promise, it's like, oh yeah, I'll be doing it again.
And this is a relationship it's good. Like, are you just together?
Yeah, we had only been together for just, I don't know, maybe 5 months, 6 months. Our relationship was just starting.
So good, it's good. I mean, occasional drinks.
Yeah, drinking on the weekend, having friends over, playing board games or playing cards, and none of us getting wasted.
Right.
And that's all there was alcohol. There was nothing else, no other kind of substances or anything like that.
Well, in the back room, there's cocaine.
Well,
not yet.
Not yet, but it was ended up getting that way.
What did you say to her?
I just told her, I says, yeah, I promise I won't do it anymore. Okay. And again, like in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah.
You can't tell me.
I'm not promising to this.
Yeah.
And again, that's who I was as an individual.
Describe that. What do you mean?
As I said earlier, I thought I was the type of guy that, I treated my friends with respect.
Right.
Never stole from my friends. Whenever I was in their vehicle or in their home, I treated their property with respect. And to me, I'm a great person. And then I had a few people come up to me after I lost my job. And they're like, man, we love you, but, we never trusted you. And I was like, what? Not trusted me? I mean, come on, man. I've never stole from you. Did it really
shock you?
It did shock me. Mm-hmm. And what it was is the reason why they didn't trust is because I was such a manipulator.
Right.
And I wasn't an honest person at all, period. And literally, I started... It's taken me a lot of years, but I've gone back and really started looking at myself. Man, I wasn't even being honest with myself.
Right.
Right? Right. And it hurts when you have somebody that comes up that's supposedly your friend and say, hey, we don't trust you. I mean, it frickin' hurt. It was like spreading my legs and going, kick me.
Right.
You know?
Well, and,
So-
and they know. I mean, they can see it. They still love you, but they love you
Yeah.
from a distance.
Exactly.
They can see that you don't know how to love yourself
Yeah.
really in that moment.
Yeah.
You know? And to hear them say that, I mean, I bet that was tough to hear.
Yeah.
But once hindsight's 20/20. You step out of it, you start to realize,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, right?
that is who I am.
Yeah.
Duplicitous, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And, and what's crazy is where it led up to that point. So, Jenann and I, our relationship continued to go. And we continue to have our weekend nights with friends, or just her and I having some drinks. And me promising her that I'll never do coke again. I'd have my shit. And I always had a way of sneaking it.
Right.
And I was never one that could do it where people could tell that I was doing it. I wouldn't get all jittery and gritting my teeth and like a lot of people do. I could just do it and still be me.
Right.
And she had no clue. She had zero frickin' clue that this
Never
was
brought
going
it up
on.
again. Didn't notice.
Never brought. As far as she knew, nothing was happening.
You were still living that double.
I was
life.
still living that double life, and as once we moved in together and we moved out of the trailer and I bought a home and I asked Jenann to come in and move in with me, and my garage was set up great. I had a freaking dartboard, the stereo, the TV, a refrigerator full of booze. Perfect man cave, right? And friends over and playing darts and doing all these things, and it was getting to the point where on the weekends I was really starting to get pretty freaking wasted.
Right.
Because people who drink and also do coke, you get to where you get to a high where it's getting way, 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 way too much. So you drink more to kind of level everything back down. So you're constantly doing this all night long. You're trying to gauge everything to where you don't get too far out of hand. And we had some friends over one weekend and we're playing cards. And I could feel myself getting pretty tipsy. And so I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to go in and I'm going to do a line and I'll get myself back to where I'm feeling okay again. And I went in there to go to the bathroom, in our master bathroom, and I'm above the toilet, and next thing I know, I'm down, and I'm in the tub.
Uh-oh.
Tore the shower curtain down, and of course, Jenann and her friend comes running in, and I'm still holding my thing, and I'm laying in the tub like, what the hell just happened? And they're like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And, and again, they were just thinking it was because of the drinking.
Right.
And this was going on almost like every weekend. And I remember looking in the mirror quite a few times. And I'm looking at myself eye to eye and I'm like, God, I need help. This is getting too far out of hand. Yes, it's a weekend thing. It's not an everyday thing, but it's still getting out of hand.
And when you say out of hand, is that falling down? Jenann's finding you like that, or is that you? Or what kind of drinker are you?
It's all of it. It's
violent?
all of it combined. No, not violent. I was never, not ever a violent type of person. I was there to have a freaking good time, and I was having a blast.
Right.
Loving on everybody, just having a good time.
And then we turned sloppy at some point.
Yeah.
It
Well,
gets
and
too much.
I don't think I was ever to where I was like the irritated type of person where people are like, just get the hell away from me,
Right.
Just having fun. I had gotten to myself to a point to where I was about 198 pounds, most I've ever weighed my whole life. I thought I looked good until I saw a picture of her and I at Bear Lake, and I was driving a boat, and I'm like,
Hey, when we're in it, we always think we look good.
oh shit, is that what
Lipstick
I look
up your
like?
face, you keep reapplying, or
right?
Too tight of jeans, whatever.
It's crazy, and it was just getting way too far out of hand, and I kept asking God for help because I'd tell myself, no way this weekend I'm not going to do anything.
Right.
Maybe we'll have a few drinks, and then of course Friday would come, and by Friday afternoon I'm just like jonesing again. It's like nope on
Jonesing
the phone
for cocaine?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Because it got
that's
to the
good to
point
know.
to where I couldn't drink unless I had that.
Right. So it became an every weekend thing.
It was an every weekend thing for
And
years.
Maybe falling into the week sometimes.
No,
Okay,
no,
just the
always,
weekend?
always on the weekend. It
Okay.
was always on the weekend because my job was my thing during the week. My focus, because I had way too many things going on. It's like I cannot be buzzing on something and be concentrating. Plus, sometimes I'm down there in machines, high speed machines. And it's like,
Right.
I want to keep my fingers. I want to keep my hands. You know, I don't want to be sticking my hand in a machine where I'm messed up. You know, so yeah, it was just the weekend things.
How long did it go on like that?
I can't even tell you how many years. It was probably, oh my gosh, we were together 3 years even before we got married. So 4 years had been going on
Right.
or so. 3 years. Yeah, it was just a mess. And then hadn't been drug tested for years. And then one day it came, and I was drug tested, failed, of course, because it was in my system because I did
Right.
it every weekend. You know, if
Right.
it was just a once in a thing, it probably wouldn't have shown up.
They started noticing different things in you.
They could have. Yeah,
Right.
they could have. And
I'm telling you, after so long, it's hard, to deny. You could see characteristic changes.
Changing, yeah.
Not in just their countenance alone, in our countenance alone. I know for me, like you say, I thought that I looked so good, right? But hindsight, 2020, that's my favorite thing to say.
Yeah.
Because then I look back and I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
there's no way the people that I was around did not notice that I was in something.
Right.
Something. They may not know what it was, but something was going on.
Yeah, and you're 100% right,
Right.
and I never even thought of that till you just said that.
Yeah.
So they probably did notice something.
Right.
So, yeah,
They drug test you.
they drug test me, comes back. I'm suspended. The plant manager was behind me. My boss was behind me. They're like, look what this guy's done. Look at the dedication he's put in. And our company had just been sold and bought. Mm-hmm. So the owner who knew me was no longer the owner. So corporate America had come in and completely changed things. And Jenann knows who I am as a person, man. I don't miss work. I mean, I could have 101 temperature and I'm still going to work.
Right.
I don't miss work. And I was telling her I wasn't feeling good. Well, after about the second or third day, she's like, man, this ain't who he is. There's something going on.
Right.
And
so you didn't tell her that you had got fired?
Well, I still hadn't known at the time.
Okay.
I was just suspended.
You were still waiting. Okay.
Yeah. So the word finally came, and they decided to make an example of me. And I was one of the first ones to be let go.
I want to challenge you on something.
Okay.
When you say Jenann knew who you were because you would go to work, but you were also hiding a lot of stuff from Jenann, I don't think you really knew in this moment who you were.
No.
And you're
No.
barely starting to meet yourself when these things are happening, right?
Yep.
And you're butting up against, reality's coming to
Oh.
you.
Oh, that wall was coming quick.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember days when she'd get up and she'd go to work. Man, there was times I'd sit home and just bawl, going, what the hell did you just do? You spent 24 years growing a career to blow it for something like this, and as much as I was doing my best to move that wall out of the way,
It hit you.
it was coming, and
Yeah.
it was coming fast.
You were meeting yourself.
I was meeting myself. So remember, I said that I'd look in the mirror and ask God to help me?
Yeah. Yeah, you
Not,
showed up.
not realizing that's the way it was happening, right?
Yes.
And
I actually know.
she finally came to
Know
me.
that feeling.
She finally came to me, and she's like, what's going on? And I want you to be honest with me. What the hell is going on? I broke down and told her. I said,
truth,
this
all of
is
it?
all of it. You can imagine how hard that was for her.
Absolutely.
I had went behind her back for years after promising her.
Well, and you're
Right?
surrendering to a better version of yourself. That's not always
Not
easy.
knowing it, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not always easy, but I'm telling you, you feel so much better, and we'll get into that.
And it was it was tough because we had just gotten married. We got married in May.
Yeah.
2 months later, a month and a half later, I was out of a job. And I was someone that she counted on. She finally had a relationship with somebody that treated her with respect, that had a frickin' job, a long job, and I just took that away from her.
Right.
You know, she was very angry, rightly so.
Absolutely.
And I went into a depression for a while. It was, I don't know how many weeks, but she'd go to work and she'd come home and I'd still be in my underwear laying in bed. And she came home one day and she's like, enough's enough. And we had gotten some gift cards and stuff from our marriage. And I've said this before on a few of the other shows. She goes, you're going to start painting the living room. And this is how I remember. I don't even know if it actually happened this way, but I'm like, the hell if I am. I ain't freaking doing shit.
You're not going to tell me.
She goes, no, you're going to do it. So eventually we go to a store. We go to the Home Depot. We're picking out colors. She finds a color that she likes, and we get all the supplies, and I don't know, it probably sat there for a week or so. And one day I decided, you know what, I don't know, maybe I'll do a little stuff. So I started doing a little sanding, and I don't know, maybe spent a half hour, 40 minutes doing it. F this shit, I ain't doing this anymore. Go back, lay in bed, feel sorry for myself. That's all I was doing, was feeling sorry for myself.
And stuff?
Oh, no, everything come to a complete stop.
Okay.
Complete stop. And anyway, long story short, next thing I knew, I'm getting up, I'm doing a little bit more. I'm doing a little bit more. I'm doing a little bit more. Finally, the living room's painted. And I give her credit for that.
Yeah.
Because she's the one that helped me get up and get my feet moving, And I've shared on on a lot of our shows many times, and I think we even talked about it on our live show yesterday, that as long as you're getting up and taking baby steps, as long as those steps are forward, you're moving forward. You're moving in the right direction. Mm-hmm. And that's what it was taking for me. It was taking her to basically kick me in the butt, saying, look, you're better than this, okay? Even knowing how pissed off she still was at me.
Yeah.
And again, rightly so.
Well, she also gave you an opportunity to be your own savior.
Yeah.
She can only do so much right there and show up for you in a way that helps you show up for yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's when you start feeling better, when you're putting forth the effort to get out of bed and do something. When somebody's hounding you, yeah, you hear it, but also we're defiant in that moment.
Right.
It's like, ugh, don't talk to me.
Yeah, it's like, get the hell out of my face,
yes.
Right?
Yes, and it was just kind of like, here it is.
Yeah.
Led you to water right there.
Yeah. It started changing things. And both of our families are LDS. I grew up in an LDS family. I got out of the church about the age of 13. Had a terrible bishop that I just finally said, man, if this is what it's all about, I don't want anything to do with it. Hadn't prayed for a long time. And I remember one day moping around the house in my underwear, and I'm going, something just kept telling me, you need to hit your knees. And I was fighting. I'm like, no, not going to do it. And then it just kept eating at me. And I remember how embarrassed I was the first time I knelt down at the side of my bed to pray, basically, and say, God, I asked you to help me, but not in this way. Just lost everything. I wasn't asking for this kind of help. What do I do now? And that was the starting point of where I literally started working to where I hit my knees every day. And it wasn't just right at that moment. It took, a few days where I didn't, then I'd do it again, and then didn't do it again, and then pretty soon it was like an everyday thing. And it was like the direction. What direction do I need to go? Because I told myself I will not work for corporate America again. Blaming the corporation. Because I'm pretty sure that if the owner of the company was still the owner of the company, I probably would have really got a hard slap on both wrists, probably even across the face, and I'd still have a job. that wasn't the case.
You also wouldn't know who you are today.
I wouldn't know who I am. So blessings come in tragedies, and a lot of our guests have shared that.
Yeah.
When I left Tosa today, I ran into someone who's been a guest who I ran into Corey. Just love that kid.
Clay.
Yes. Clay.
No, you're okay.
And we were talking, and he was telling me how blessed he is, and I've heard this guy's story. I'm like, yeah, you are definitely blessed, brother.
Yeah.
Definitely blessed. And so many other people. And it's like, that was the beginning of this journey, and
I think even us talking this morning about vulnerability is strength. And our society has that mixed up.
Yes.
You are not weak. If you are talking about what you're going through, that does not make you weak. That is so empowering, not only for your soul, but for others. And I'm proud of you for wanting not only to hear the feedback, but you're applying it. The stars lined up for you to be able to talk today, and you're doing it, and we're talking about it. And,
yeah, right.
It'll get easier, but you start to feel better when you have ownership in your part. You're just going to start feeling better about, and it's not even just the ownership. It's telling it is the ownership.
Yeah,
telling
pretty much it is.
Your side and how you viewed it and what was going on in your mind and where you were and how you affected other people.
Yeah.
And it's important for us to see that, like you said, gosh, God help me. But I didn't want you to help me like this. Sometimes you don't know what the help actually looks like until you're out of it and you've been taking it and applying it, and you're like, this is where I was supposed to be. This was supposed to happen.
Exactly right.
So I could appreciate my wife the way that she could, my life, and who I'm becoming, because you didn't like who you were, whether you...
No.
No.
I thought I did.
You thought that you did.
Yes.
And then it might have been a shock right then that your friends actually told you, but I think deep down you already knew. You're like, oh, they spot me. And it stings to hear about yourself. But that's how we're growing. Nobody's perfect. I know I'm not perfect. I am growing every day and surrounding myself by people that, are going to tell me about myself, or, they're going to catch me if I'm slipping. But today I am proud of who I am, and I don't scare myself. You got to a point in your life that you weren't scared of things. You were scared of yourself. And I know that I was like that. The situations I was in, the crazier the people that I was around, I wasn't scared of. I got to a point I was scared of me. Today, I'm not scared of who I am. I show up with, full heart, and I trust myself. And I hope that you're getting to that you trust yourself, because hearing that part in your story where you just, they didn't trust you, but you couldn't trust you. And it seems like today you're getting to a spot that you do, and I hope so. I mean, you're saying that you got out of it just from hitting a rock bottom, but I'm sorry, that bottom could always fall out.
Oh, absolutely.
And
we're always standing on trap doors, right?
Yeah, and it sounds like you're taking steps to not only better yourself, you've recognized it, it's getting out there, you're talking about it, but you're helping others live. You give us a platform to tell our story too. And that's important. Service of others is how you're going to feel better.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing, right?
Yeah, exactly right.
We just want to open the door for more people to be vulnerable and tell us what you're going through or how you got out of it, so we can help the next person.
Yeah.
It's courageous, so thank you.
Absolutely. We'll take this moment. We'll stop for a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back and kind of go into that second half. And
sounds good.
Where God helping me and that wall coming very quick now, where it's all led up to. So, yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, guys, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Have you ever been in a car accident? Do you know what to do after being in a car accident? Are the insurance companies going to take care of you? Hi, I'm attorney Rick Heaton with the Law Office of Bobby Udall. I will help you through the process and answer all of these questions. I give every single client my cell phone so they can talk to me whenever they need. Let me deal with the insurance company so you can focus on getting better from your injuries. Call me at 385-330-0226. Again, my cell phone number, 385-330-0226. Don't call the insurance company first. Call attorney Rick Heaton at 385-330-0226.
Hello, my friends. This is Brad Neufeld, and I want to thank you for tuning in to the Resilience Talk Network. You can listen to my show, Resilience, every morning, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. On my show, we will be discussing what it takes for you to overcome the day-to-day challenges that all of us face in life, as well as some of the devastating ones that may lead us to feelings of hopelessness and despair. It's my goal to provide you with the tools and skills that you need to overcome anything that is thrown your way. To find out more about my show, visit our website at www.resiliencetalk.com. That's www.resiliencetalk.com. And as always, until we meet again, go for everything that you want in life and make it happen.
Good morning, this is Leticia with Computer Hospital. We are your computer repair experts for both PC and Mac. We are your community resource for all of your computer repair needs. What makes us different is that we want to fix your computer. We also do free diagnostics. We charge a flat rate labor, which means that you won't pay by the hour. All of our computer repair is done in-house with a fast turnaround time, and same-day service is also available. Feel free to stop by anytime without an appointment. We're located in Sandy at 8721 South State Street. Again, that's 8721 South State Street, or call us at 801-987-3993. Again, that's 801-987-3993. This is Leticia with Computer Hospital, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Hello there, this is Brad Neufeld with the Resilience Talk Network, and I would like to introduce to you Taffytown, one of our newest sponsors. Let me introduce you to Derek.
Hi, I'm Derek from Taffytown. We're proud sponsors of the Other Side of Addiction podcast. Taffytown is a family-owned and operated business still operating in the Salt Lake City area for over 100 years. We manufacture some of America's best saltwater taffy.
What makes Taffytown stand out from all of the others?
We have a unique recipe, a whipped-style recipe that incorporates egg whites, evaporated milk, real sea salt. It's a unique product that is flavorful, melts in your mouth, and the best part is we probably have a flavor for anyone's liking, a flavor for any reason, for any season. We have unique flavors like chicken and waffles, maple bacon, frosted cupcake. New this year was a pineapple ghost pepper flavor.
That's awesome. Where can people find out more about Taffytown and all of its products?
You can check all of this stuff out. All of our products are available for sale on taffytown.com. We ship for free from our website, so all of our pricing on there is shipping included. Oftentimes we offer special promotions and discounts to our loyal customers, so do be sure to sign up for an account. And we look forward to seeing what we can do to make you smile with our taffy.
Where are you located?
We are currently located at 9813 South Prosperity Road in West Jordan, Utah, just at the foothills of the Copper Canyon mine.
Derek, taffy has always been a great gift to give. What are some of the creative ways Taffytown can help say thank you to others?
Yeah, if you're looking for gift ideas, whether to say thank you to friends or family, or maybe to your clients after such a difficult or successful year that you've had, you could look no further than to get a gift idea from taffytown.com. We offer pre-packaged gift boxes that say that it's saltwater taffy from the city of the Great Salt Lake, and it tells a little bit about the history of our community and making candy for so long. You can also do customized gifts to pick out just the right flavors or colors of candy for that special someone and deliver even a personalized message in that box to them. So please feel free to check out taffytown.com for any gift ideas this season.
Thank you so much, Derek. Please visit taffytown.com, that's taffytown.com, to find out more about the products and services that Taffytown offers. You won't be disappointed.
Do you know someone who's gambling with death due to an addiction? Do you know someone whose life is being turned upside down due to a loved one that's battling with addiction? Hi, I'm Al Richards. I am the host of the Other Side of Addiction podcast. I started the podcast due to my wife's battle with alcohol. Let's just say I became addicted to her addiction. Our podcast is helping people understand a little more about those who have battled addiction and those who are hurting from their addiction. Through raw vulnerability, we share stories that help uncover the root causes of addiction. Shame felt on both sides, matter of the conscious and subconscious mind, continued beliefs, and often confusing paths of recovery. We collaborate with real people and their stories, as well as licensed professionals, to help our audience gain a better understanding of addiction. You can find us on Resilience Talk Network. You can also find us on Facebook at Mr. Al Richards. That's Facebook at Mr. Al Richards. You can also find us on YouTube. Just look up the Other Side of Addiction podcast. With my reading glasses, I even have to eat with them damn things. So, again, welcome back to the Other Side of Addiction. Our guest that we did have scheduled wasn't able to make it. We hope everything's okay on her end. And Robyn came in to be the guest co-host, and now basically she's the interviewer. So, Robyn, again, thank you for taking time to be here with us today.
It's a pleasure.
Love having you here.
I love to be here. You know, I try to think of questions that I want to ask, and, you know, I just think this is important that you tell your story, and you have led us all the way up to a point where you're on your knees and you're, you know, asking God for help, and you're at your desperation.
Yeah.
But before that, at any time, did you ever have like a sickness in your stomach? Did you ever want to go to Jenann? Did you ever want to go to anybody, you know, besides just, you know, getting on your knees and praying to ask for help? Did you ever want to go to anybody else? Or, you know, you said you looked in the mirror and there was like, you need help. But did it ever, you know, it grows. It's like cancer. You lie once and it gets bigger and bigger because you got to cover it over and over and over again. And was there ever a point that you felt comfortable? It doesn't sound like it because it goes to God, right? It goes in God's hand. That you were exposed or wanted to ask for help, or felt like, I don't like who I am today. I've just been told and told by friends. Jenann knows, you know, it just didn't get there. It was
Never,
a slap in the face.
I didn't get there, you know, and it's crazy. I mean, I've always been a believer of God. Okay, that was just like the first person I could think of, you know. So it never did dawn on me, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong on this. You know, we have, for at least it was for me, it was that embarrassment.
Yes.
You know, I mean, you're already ashamed. I mean, I felt ashamed because I lied to my wife for months, for years.
Yeah.
You know, ashamed of being that. And especially after having people come up and going, well, we didn't trust you.
Right.
Well, my wife trusted me, and now I just gave her a reason not to trust me.
She trusted what she thought she knew of you.
Right. You know, so I didn't ever think of going to anyone else, saying anything, you know. And, you know, Dave brought it up today when we were talking this morning. You know, when you own up to your own shit, no one else can hold that over your head. No one.
Oh, it's such a good feeling.
Because you're owning up to your own shit. And it is what it is. Now, it's been since 2009, man. It's been years. And it still took me quite a few years, probably up until about the last couple years, where I stopped using that.
Right.
To where I lost my job of 24 years and just left it at that.
Yeah.
You know, now it's like, frickin' drop it. Enough's enough, because that's not doing me any good. It still
your
took me.
actions led up to that.
Yeah, it still took me years to get to that point, you know.
And to own it.
And to own it.
Right.
So after hitting my knees and wanting to figure out what the hell I wanted to do in my life, because Jenann and I had heated discussions that I'm not punching a frickin' clock. I did this shit for years. I dedicated my life. This is what I got. I'm not doing it. Didn't know what I was going to do. And I had a few people reach out and go, oh man, you'd be a great life coach, you know?
Yeah.
And you should do coaching. And I'm like, oh, no. And I ended up helping my brother grow his concrete business, you know, and he's been going pretty strong now for, I don't know, 12, 13 years, something like that. He's just small. And I continued to hit my knees every day. I started doing a journal. And, you know, when you start getting on that right path, God took something away from me that meant something, the world to me. I was asking for his help. He realized by removing that, not me, he did, it was going to put me in the direction I needed to go, right? Because I said that wall was coming quick, and I slammed right into it. So I started kind of doing some different things. I don't even know how this guy found me. Calls me up one day and says, hey, we're looking for some sales guys, and somebody gave me your name, and we're doing energy conservation stuff where you go up and look at the attics, and if they qualify, we come in and we spray insulation in there, and you know, and this is how much it is, and they get a check, and blah, blah, blah. He's giving me the whole spiel. I ain't no freaking sales guy, man. I've been doing manufacturing, construction all my life, you know, and so I thought, man, I got to do something to bring some money in. So I did it, met these guys, and I went to a customer's house one day. Still remember her name. Her name was BB. And we're going over the whole spill. I go up, I inspect her attic. I come down and said, you qualify. Would you like to do this? She goes, absolutely. Where can I sit down and do the paperwork? Just sit here at the kitchen table. Sit down at the kitchen table. I'm filling out some information. And at the corner of my eye, I can see her just looking at me. And I'm really starting to get a little nervous because she's just staring at me. And she goes, Al, I want to give you a book. And I says, thanks, BB, but I don't read. I don't like reading. Left it at that, and I'm doing the paperwork. She goes, Al, something is telling me to give you this book. And I said, BB, thank you, but I do not read. And I went back, and all of a sudden she goes, get your paperwork and get the out of my kitchen, out of my house right now. And I was like, excuse me? I said, did I do something? She goes, you either take this damn book or you don't get a sale. And I mean, that's how forceful she was with me. And I'm like, holy shit, okay, I'll take the damn book. You know, I got to have money coming in.
That's great.
So she gives me this book, and it's Eckhart Tolle. And it was, I think, The Power of Now. And she even signed it. She even wrote her name in it. And anyway, that book, we were living at a friend's house at the time, because this had gotten to a point to where we ended up losing our home a year later. And so basically, we were homeless. In all seriously, we were freaking homeless. And there was no way in hell I was going to my parents' house. We didn't want to get in Jenann's parents' situation that they were in.
Right.
We had some friends say, okay, hey, we'll put you up. And anyways, so that book sat there for a couple weeks. And one day I'm bored and I'm thumbing through it and I'm reading a little bit. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Reading just a little bit more, reading a little bit more, reading a little bit more. And I'm going, holy shit, this is kind of cool, you know? And then I'm getting on the computer and I'm starting to see these emails from the Law of Attraction. Mm-hmm. I'm going, how the hell is freaking dating site shit getting on my... So I wasn't even opening them up. I was delete, and they kept popping up. Yeah. One day I went to go hit delete, and it pops up. And I'm going, That's not a dating site.
No, it's not.
Law of attraction. I had no clue, right? So I start reading, I'm going, oh my hell, this is pretty cool shit. And it's like boom, 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 boom. It just started happening. I get involved with the West Jordan Chamber of Commerce. And I go to a luncheon, and this girl gets up and she's doing a presentation about body language and different things. And she has a drawing. And I put my business card in because I'm out looking, I'm not wanting to network so I can bring some business in to make some more money.
Yeah.
And my card gets picked. Guess what I win? Eckhart Tolle's The New Earth book. So I'm like, okay, God.
I'm a reader now.
All right. So you're pushing me, you're nudging me to go down a path I know nothing about. Okay. And things just started rolling from there. Next thing I know, I'm talking with people, and they're all into manifesting and the power of the universe and different things like that. And I'm starting to learn a little bit more about things. And of course, man, I'm hitting my knees even more going, okay, man, what direction am I supposed to go? Yeah. You know, what way do I go? And slowly but surely, I would get started with different jobs, and I'm doing all these different things and not realizing it was leading me down a path that has put me to where I get emotional about it today, because I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for that.
Yeah.
And it all started with me losing a job, you know, and hitting a brick wall. We've had guests on our show who a lot worse has happened to them than hitting a wall. You know, they not only just hit a frickin' wall, they hit another wall, and some of the walls fell on top of them, and they were, you know, crumbling, and never even knew where their next meal was going to come from or whatever, you know. And so I was just been in awe with where things were going. And
I think you were meant to, like you said, like you're saying right now, you were meant to hit that wall, but you've been a salesman your whole life.
Yeah, we're all salesmen, right?
Yeah, literally. You were selling a life for a really long time, Al.
Yeah.
And it took that for you to get real with yourself and be put in a sales position to get the gift. God's telling you, hey, you think you're a salesman? Here you go.
Yeah.
He's giving you a gift right there.
Yeah, and not even knowing it, right?
I'm glad that you were able to be so far away from being stuck at that guy in the mirror, that you were a little bit out of your way, that you could pay attention to what he was trying to tell you. And the signs, the power of the universe, right?
Yeah.
Telling you this is the path, follow this path, because we can go any way we want to go with it.
Right.
But you were a little more clear-minded than you'd been in years, that you were open to receiving that and paying attention and willing to take an opportunity that was before you. So many times we miss opportunities because we don't want to take them.
Right. Well, it's because of the fear, right? Mm-hmm. Am I going to fail at this? Am I going to look stupid? Am I going to look silly? You know, am I going to let myself down?
Like you said, the embarrassment of if I fail. We only fail if we don't try.
Right. Yeah, and that is the biggest failure.
Right.
If you don't try, you failed already, right? Mm-hmm. I would rather fail trying than not trying at all. Right. You know,
it's not failing if you're trying.
Right.
We're doing.
Yeah.
Right. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
Try's not a.
Yeah. Try's not a word.
Yeah.
Is it a Star Wars thing? You either do or you don't.
I think it's Nike.
Is
just
it Nike?
It? No,
just do it. I don't know. Yeah.
Ooh, yes.
You know, and it's when this journey first started, you know, I wanted to figure out who I was as a person. I had definitely made my mind up. I'm going to figure out who the hell who I want to be. Because here I am thinking I was this person, realizing I wasn't this person at all. And Jenann had bought me a mountain bike for Christmas, and it got to the point to where I was getting up in the morning, jumping on the mountain bike, and I'd take off. You know, I started out doing a block, going out, maybe do a couple more blocks, you know, and pretty soon I'm doing like 3 or 4 miles in a morning, come home, man, feeling invigorated, and it's like, man, I'm on top of the world, and still not having a job, and still kind of doing little odds and ends. I was doing whatever I could to do my best to bring some money in to help Jenann, because she was covering everything. She was taking on the load, and again, just where life started taking me, and I just started opening my eyes a lot more and started getting into the universe and the energy and the power of now and law of attraction and everyone that was being placed in my life. And then I would have a different opportunity come, and I'm like, all right, you know what? Well, this is okay, I'm going to go for it. And I'd do it, and it would last for a little while, and then it would plummet, and then something else would come up, and I'd do it for a little while, and then it would plummet. And I've shared this on our talks many times, and we talked about it a couple of weeks ago when Nicholas T. Smith from the Tribe of Giants was here, and he talked about if you connect your dots of life backwards, you'll realize you're right where you're at because that's where you're supposed to be.
I love that.
And I've gone back since he was on the show, which was, I think him and Ryan were on the show well over a year ago, and it really opened my eyes. It really opened my eyes going, every frickin' trail I jumped on, and there were times Jenann's like, here's another one. Here's another little scheme you're going to get yourself into, and it's not going to lead anywhere. And she was meaning it in a good way,
right.
And she was right. I was basically just kind of jumping whatever and doing my best not to punch a clock again. Mm-hmm. And again, God's voice, which was, I like to call it my spirit. My spirit was just leading me and directing me in these ways, not realizing it was going to lead me up to where I'm at today. And it finally got to a point to where I went from 198 pounds. I got myself down to where I was about 173 and was happy that I'm finally starting to think better of myself. I had vowed that I was going to be an honest person from here on out. I would speak my mind, whether somebody liked it or not, and I'm not doing it to disrespect anybody. I'm not doing it to hurt anybody's feelings. This is who I am. At least you know where I stand. I still love you, just I'm rebuilding myself, know.
The truth will set you free. You hear that
Right,
over and over, and that's
right.
where it starts for you.
Yeah, because you got to do it yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's
the moment you told Jenann the truth, you decided you wanted to be a different person.
Yeah.
And you had opportunity after opportunity to, you made promises to yourself, and the more that you keep them, the stronger you become the man that you want to be.
Yeah.
Who are you today?
Oh, I like to think I'm this really, really good person, know, and I've said this many times, there's no finish line.
It's true.
My finish line will be the day that God brings me back home, because if we don't continue to work on ourselves and better ourselves, and I have goals and I've reached some goals, it's not over. I set another one, and once I reach that goal, I'll set another one, because there isn't a finish line. And it's taken me some time, and I've done, and really Jenann's addiction has really helped me through this, in all honesty. It's water under the bridge. It's done. It's over with. I can't change it. I can't bring it. Well, I can dwell on it if I want, but why do I want to dwell on it? It makes my life freaking miserable.
Right.
I would
why
rather
talk
just
about
go.
those things that are going to keep you in that shame? Right. You got to put action in to take the shame out of your bucket.
Yeah.
You got to be honest. You got to be accountable. You got to be trustworthy. Yep. Right? You show up the best that you can every day. You can reflect on it, on how you can grow and do better the next day, and that's just it's a never-ending story.
Yeah, it is never-ending. Mm-hmm. And there was a point, Robyn, in all honesty, probably about 3 years ago, I met a gentleman who actually ended up being a guest on our show, and I met him through networking. And he had gotten out of his career, his 9-to-5 job, and decided, I want to help other people. And he got into coaching. And he's doing very well for himself right now. And he invited me to an event he was putting on. It was $25. I didn't have $25. Being the guy that he was, he's like, you just come. Just don't worry. You just come to the event. Just show up. So I showed up. And we're doing this exercise where we break off in a group and we have a chair in the middle and then people get around you. And it's almost kind of like what you guys do at TOSA. in a different way where people are shouting all these cool things about you. And you close your eyes and you just listen to all these voices coming from every direction around you. And then you would have to talk about it after, about how it made you feel. And I remember how it was making me feel, and I'm thinking, man, I'm on freaking cloud 9 right now. I've got this. I'm freaking kicking ass and taking names. Well, they gave us homework. So the homework was, we had, I think it was 8 positive affirmations. Homework was, you memorize those, you go home and you look at yourself in the mirror and you repeat those affirmations.
That's actually really hard for people.
Piece of freaking cake, right?
Well, you think until you're in the mirror doing it.
Right. Piece of flipping cake. I'm like, I got this, man. I'll come back next week and I'm going to tell you, everybody, my shit, how good I did. So anyway, I start doing it. I think it was the second or third day I went in to go do it, and I start doing it, and I went, holy shit. Every time I go to say it, I'm looking away.
Yeah, you don't believe it yet.
I'm looking away. So about the time I finished, and then I'm looking at myself, and then I'd start another one, and then I'd come back, and I'm going, holy shit. I don't believe it. Yeah. I'm still not in that belief. I thought I was. I'm not. And I shared that the next week in the class. And, because they asked people who wanted to share, and I shared. I'm like,
good for you.
I realized I was not looking at myself, which was telling me I did not believe a damn thing that was on that piece of paper.
Yeah. Yeah,
it
I do
opened
know.
my eyes.
I know my experience with trying to
gosh.
do it, where it's so much easier to do negative talk, or you're in the mirror and you're trying, your affirmations, and then you're like, ugh, you're lying. All of a sudden you're spinning negative again, and it's like, it's so hard. But over time, as you're doing the actions of what you truly believe on that paper and you do your best, I started to like myself after time. I could say those things in the mirror, but I was living them. I didn't have to do the affirmations anymore. You just felt it.
Yeah, and that's where it gets to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it did get to a point to where I could, and I just started out only picking 2.
Yeah, it's
just picking 2, not all of them.
So easy,
let's
but
stop.
It's not.
Let's take a short little break here and just do something small right now. And it got to where I could finally say them all and actually stare at myself and feel it.
And believe it.
And then in my diary, I was writing down, and I'm writing, because I'm a true believer, the words that follow I am follow you. Mm. So if I'm putting in a diary, I am incredible. I am honest. I am a believer, or just any positive type thing. And I would write these things down in a journal. I mean, I probably got 4 or 5 journals that are stacked like this, just me putting I ams and different positive, different things in there. And it got to where I was believing everything, and I was feeling it. And not, I got to the point where I wasn't playing that cobra where, I'd stand up and flare myself out like, look at me, everyone.
Right.
It's like, I don't need to do that anymore. I know who I am. If someone else doesn't see it, that's okay. I don't need to prove anything to them.
Well, you're not going to throw all that work and who you are away just because somebody else
because of that.
Differently of you.
I don't care.
Right.
And if someone says something bad about you, it hurts our feelings. Of course it hurts our feelings. Let it go, though.
Right.
I like to say if there's a river in front of us and we have an eyedropper full of water and we drop that water out of the eyedropper into the water, where does it? It's gone. Can you get that same water in that eyedropper? No, it's gone.
Right.
It's lost. Let it go. Let it flow downstream, go wherever the hell it's supposed to go, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just incredible how everything has taken its place. And Jenann joked one time coming back from the studio, she goes, I get all the credit for this podcast. I'm like, how the hell do you get all the credit? She goes, because if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be doing it. And I thought about it, and I'm like, son of a bitch, she's right. So it's kind of like we switched places, right? I was the one that was battling the alcohol and the drugs. And then life changed to where I was working on doing something to better myself and figure out who I was as an individual, where she tipped off the edge.
Right.
And she took her time to start figuring out who she was and where her life wanted to come. And it's been, man, it's not been easy, right, babe? She's in the studio today. It's not been easy. It's been a tough road.
If
we're
it was
we're building
easy,
ourselves together.
everybody would do it.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
not
it's,
easy.
I've heard people say this in addiction all the time.
But it's worth it.
It's worth it, right? It's worth it.
It's not
Yeah.
easy, but it's worth it.
It's worth it. And it's not as hard as we make it seem to be.
Right.
If you're putting forth the effort to want to do it and make a change,
Yeah.
man, it's not as hard as we make it.
If we
seem
get out
to
of our
be.
own way for just a
Exactly.
minute, swallow some pride,
Yeah.
and just realize that, I can only do what I can do today. And you do your best every day.
Yeah.
And reflect on the things you can change, like I just said, and you'll become somebody that you truly appreciate, but people appreciate, and they trust you again. And, you can only do what you can do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. We're so busy doing our best to direct our own lives. And when we get out of our own way, like you just said, Robyn, and just let life just go.
Yeah.
Go with the flow. It's amazing how much better life really is. And we're going to get punched in the gut more than once.
Right.
Because that's how life is. Life is full of challenges. It's always going to throw us curveballs. I got to share this. I got an Asian friend one day who called me up and hadn't talked to me in a while, and he's like, Al, it's been a while. What's going on? I said, oh, not much. And he's like, how's life treating you? I'm like, well, I'm still swinging at curveballs. One of these days I'll hit that bastard out of the park. And he goes, oh, I didn't know you were playing baseball. I'll let you go. I was actually still playing. Anyways. But, it's going to throw us the curveballs no matter what. However, if you just, everything's meant to happen the way it's meant to happen. I mean, today is a perfect example of that. Mm-hmm. And there's times, things are still kind of rough for Jenann and I, However, things still seem to work out, and it's like we're getting out of our own way.
Good for you.
Let things go, and let life take its course.
Well, and learn to trust yourself today. That's something that I gained going through the Other Side Academy, and I think I might have already stated this, but I didn't trust myself, and where my life was going and the decisions. I was a poor decision maker. And today, I trust myself. There is going to be hardships. There is going to be things that happen in life that, we're going to butt up against hard things. But I'm not going to go back to using. I'm not going to go back to being an alcoholic. And I'm not going to go back to being, all those things that I didn't like about myself when I showed up at TOSA, like not being trustworthy or not a woman of my word. I didn't like that I wasn't a woman of my word anymore. That really bothered me. So I woke up just like you did that day. I woke up and I said, every day from here on out, I'm going to be a woman of my word. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. If for some reason life happens and I can't make it, you're going to be the first person that knows. That's how I started to like myself. That's how I started to be able to look in the mirror and say those affirmations, because I put in action in my everyday, life to change the things I didn't like about me. And I had to get real with myself. It wasn't only about what other people saw in me. It was, there is deep down stuff that only us know about ourselves.
Yeah.
That we have to expose, and we can't be you can't be scared of exposing it. People are going to say what they're going to say, but if you don't like it, you're the only one that can fix it.
You're 100% right. And we were talking about in Dave's office this morning. Remember, I was telling you that I was figuring out why I was doing what I was doing, right? When I was partying
Yes.
on the weekends. And I'm like, well, was that my release because of all the stress? And I really didn't feel like that was the whole thing. That was just a part of it. And I didn't know if it was the relationship that I was having with my dad, which I talked to you about, which I found out later he wasn't my real dad,
Right.
And that was before then. So I'm not saying that was down the road. It's like there was something, and I've learned this from the interviews that I've done with so many incredible people that we've had on the show. There was something inside here that I was still masking. You know,
Yes.
it was festering, and it's like, instead of letting all the pus out, I just slap something over it. And still to this day, I still go down deep and like, what is it? Is there something I'm covering up? Is there something I'm not wanting to get out? And here, since in the last year, my story was definitely one that I was still holding
Yes.
inside here, you know. And I've shared even in my talks, and I think I shared this a little bit in the talk in August in St. George, that I was putting all the blame of everything that was going on in my life on my wife because of her addiction.
Right.
Everything, finances, blah, 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 blah. It was all her. Dave even said it today, and you even said it today. Your story's your story. You were just as much a part of this as she was, you know. And it took me till we did our interview together to really start it got the ball rolling to where I really was starting to open my eyes a little bit more, going, man, my life is my own damn fault. No one else's.
Right.
Maybe they treated me a different way, or maybe this happened. It's still on me, right? And both you and Dave said that today.
Well, you stuck with her and you stuck with her.
Right.
But you got to remember, she stuck with you.
Yeah.
She stuck with you through a lot, you know.
Yeah.
But we do. We have our own stories.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to own their own story and what they've done, and, you know, what they could have done better or what they've done good. It doesn't always have to be so bad.
No, it doesn't,
But
right?
that's how we get better,
Yeah.
right? Is
Yeah.
owning the parts that we know we had a part to play in that. So.
Yeah. Well, and we all have our weaknesses. You know, we all do. And again, that's just part of being human. You
Well,
know?
and this is you right now, you coming to and being like, you know, that embarrassment or whatever pride gets in our way, that why talk about that? It's easier to talk about this person or what
Right.
they've changed. It's so much
Right.
easier. And it's like, wait a minute.
Well, it's
You're
easier.
surrendering
Yeah.
to a better version of yourself right now. And I'm so honored to be a part of that and
Oh,
be
thank
here
you.
with you. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's again something I wasn't expecting to happen today, but again, that word I'm working on getting rid of. However, it happened the way it was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
You know, it needed to be said, and I know now where to, because of your and Dave's chat that I had with you guys this morning. It's given me a whole new direction to go and start looking at. You know,
Yeah.
because all of us here in this room, and all we want to do is help other people.
That's it.
You know, and how can we help other people when we can't even help ourselves, right?
It's true.
It's like, you know, when I was decided to fast, and I was asking God why this kept happening with what was going on with Jenann, and I fasted and hadn't fasted since I was like 13 years old. Had to call a buddy up and say, how do you do this shit again? Because I don't remember. And that word forgiveness kept popping up, and I remember telling God in my prayers, I'm like, you want me to forgive her? Heck no, that's not going to happen. It's not what he was telling me. I had to forgive myself. And
Absolutely.
once I did that, that's when things started changing for the both of us. You know, so if you can't forgive yourself, and you can't own up to your own shit, you're going to still suffer. You know, and I want the audience to know that. You've got to own up to your own shit. So, too many times I hear people go, I do this? Well, guess what you do?
Yeah.
And we do that to make ourselves feel better, because they just made us feel weak, right? So it's easier to throw that back out so we can get our strength back up. It's okay to feel that, because if someone is telling you that out of love, there's no harm in that. They're telling you to help you grow. And if we shut them off, you're allowing yourself not to grow. So
Amen to that.
I told you and Dave, thank you. I don't know, a couple times, that thank you for being so open and telling me what you guys saw, you know,
Thank
and what
you
you
for
guys
listening.
think, because it really opened my eyes, and I didn't take it in a bad way the whole time. It's like I got to pay attention. I got to listen to what they're saying. And even though Jenann said, when I called her and said, this is what they said, she, well, I've told you that how many times? Well, we have a tendency of not listening to our loved ones, right?
Right.
You know, and again, they do it for their own best, for our best interest as well, not theirs, but they do it, and yeah.
Well, and after telling our stories, or, just getting out our ugly, if you will, it's so much easier to not go back to that person and appreciate who you've become today.
Yeah.
I mean, you are a remarkable man. I absolutely love you and your wife. You support us in so many ways at the Other Side Academy, but you're good friends and you're good people today. And so, that's where it starts, is being open and vulnerable with, the people that you love and that you care about. And it's a two-way street. It's always going to be an open door. We want to hear when you see something, and that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
That's real friendship. And when we're open to that, then we're going to, we're going to heal. And we're going to be okay, and we're going to grow, and, we're a family.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we need help. Right? Yeah. We can't do this on our own.
Really?
I mean, we need, I'm a firm believer, and this is just my belief, we need a higher power, however it is that you look at it, but we also need to surround ourselves by like-minded people, because that's what builds that energy stronger and stronger and stronger, right? Yeah. You see it in movies, not even realizing it happens, right? You look at the superhero movies, like the Avengers or something, right? Individually, they're trying to take on a villain, and they're getting their asses kicked.
But together,
yeah. When all their powers are together, they usually end up triumph, right? And it's because they come together as a whole. And when you surround yourself with like-minded people, you will be so freaking shocked where life takes you. I mean, Jenann made a comment, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 months ago. She goes, I cannot believe I am friends with so-and-so. It's like, why can't you believe it? Because I just never saw myself being with somebody like that.
That's so great.
And it's because of who she's changed. She's changed herself, and she's moved her direction. And the right people have come into her life now that even help her feel good about herself. She's already now feeling good about herself. She's finally on that path, because she's not done that all her life. And now she's there, but yet the right people now are there to go, give me a hug. I'm here to help you along the way, right?
It's so great. You have to change your social circle to, actually change too. If you keep going back to the same things, you're going to get what you always got.
Yeah, exactly.
So
right.
Put yourself out there. Dare greatly. You'll survive. But it's not just surviving. We're finally living. You're
that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, you're living to who you're supposed to be.
Yep.
So.
Well, is there anything else you would like to ask? We've gone just a little over an hour, so is there something else you want to throw at me that pops into mind?
No, I just think you embracing your story and telling it and getting it out there is going to bring a lot more people than you think. You are already bringing people. It's the other side of addiction. It still can be the other side of addiction. You just are more, people are going to be more open to sharing with you. And not that they weren't, but can you imagine now? Just, I'm proud of you. And thank you for being in our circle.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you to TJ for introducing us.
Absolutely.
That's...
Men Love. TJ Men Love.
Yeah, TJ Men Love. Yeah. It's crazy. And I'm just so grateful for so many people out there that have introduced me to others, that the relationships that both my wife and I have built just from starting this show has been remarkable. Again, a year and a half ago, I didn't even know Brad, the owner of Resilience Talk Network. I had never heard of this guy, and just happened to talk to somebody at a ribbon cutting, and he introduces me, and here we are, a year and a half later. Look what we've built, and we're still building. We've got dreams and goals to take this to a whole different level, and we're going to do it.
Absolutely.
We're definitely going to do it.
I do have a question. How do you feel about telling your story at this moment? Because a lot of times it's mixed. You feel exposed or you feel good about it. Is there something about your story that you want to say, that you want to get out there, that you just want to let go?
Oh, man. It's probably it's just probably the right time right now. It's new beginning. Something out that's been pulled out of your closet and thrown away, and replace it with something better.
Yeah, don't keep it in there anymore.
Yeah. And there may be some people who hear this that are going to go, Huh?
That's the point.
You know?
Hello, people. It's reality.
Right?
Here we are.
Seriously, what I was thinking when I
Yeah.
Frontline soldiers in one of the biggest wars in the world.
Yeah.
You know, and it's always going to be there, but we're here.
And some may even say, I knew it. I knew it.
Well, he's saying it.
It's
We're
saying
talking about it.
You know, and yeah. So it was good. It was definitely good that it came out, and it's still crazy after what we spoke about this morning, and here it is. It's already coming out. I mean, it was like an hour after we talked, right?
Yeah.
It was like really, really quick.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is just a rock that I've picked up and thrown out of my way, and we'll just keep
go.
going.
Yes.
You know, and we'll build on it, and hopefully my story will help others.
Yeah.
You know, we've been very blessed on this show. We've had about a half a dozen people come on our show and share their story for the very first time. So I think I'm the 7th.
Sweet.
Yeah, right. So
Yes.
it's cool. So people who have heard our other guests talk that have gotten a hold of me going, I think it's time I share my story because I've never talked about it. And it needs to be talked about.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you.
We appreciate you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, very, very much so. The relationships that we've built here on Resilience Talk Network and the Other Side Academy is just it's just amazing. Just flipping amazing, you know. So I feel very, very blessed. Very grateful.
Me too.
Yeah.
I didn't know what camera to look at, but hello, guys.
Yeah.
Not really sure. I just looked at you.
Yeah.
I'm in awe. Good for you. Proud of
Yeah.
you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Is there one last message you want to share with the audience? And I believe it would be this camera right
This
here.
one?
Yeah, if you've got something
just
you want
if
to share.
somebody you know that is, going through a hard time, or it's you yourself, you can call the Other Side Academy. You can call me directly. My name is Robyn Sims. My phone number is 801-505-3936. Again, we're not for everybody, but we are helping those that are truly wanting to change. And if we're not the place for you, I have no problem helping you find the place that is. So, we're in this together, and thank you for listening.
Love it.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you. Thank you to all our listeners, all our many, many sponsors. Man, if it wasn't for you guys, a lot of this wouldn't be happening. A lot of us who've been following us since the beginning has seen the changes that's been happening in this studio, and it's just because of all you guys. Thank you to Resilience Talk Network, to Brad and Mason for all the hard work that they do behind the scenes. I always want to make sure that they're getting their thanks as well,
Absolutely.
because it takes a lot of time to edit and do these shows. So very, very grateful, and we seem to keep adding stuff. We're doing like promo tapes now, and we've just started doing other little shares. So they're doing a lot of work behind the scenes.
We're just getting started.
Yeah, we're just getting started. Gosh, am I forgetting anyone? I do my best to make sure we say thank you to
That's why I don't list
every single one.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, just thank you, everyone, man. We're so grateful for y'all. And remember, addiction is giving up everything for one thing, and recovery is giving up one thing.